Hi there, my name's Jim, this is my shed and you're welcome to it. Welcome back, episode 21, and just a few days past the channel's first birthday, so here we are a year older and wiser and wondering why are we doing this. Thanks very much to my wife for that particular pun, very amusing. Yeah, the old shed's definitely looking a year older though. I think the roof's going a bit, felt's going, might need redoing, but she'll have to do us for a while yet. I would like to take this opportunity to just comment on a video I watched. Jeff Buys Cars video, one of the ones he's doing on holiday with the terrible lighting. He was talking about a consultation that the government, or at least the DVLA or DVSA, whatever it's called, did about the classification of modified and classic cars, and sort of, how much modification should be allowed and what modifications should lead to a different registration and all that sort of thing. Well, on the face of it, it's like just asking questions, but the current or the direction of travel is very clear. It's all aimed at just making it impossible or impractical, should we say, to keep your older car on the road. And I think it's something that we have to fight against. It's a tradition we got in this country. Motorsport and motoring in general is one of our huge success stories, and you destroy that. I mean, government don't seem to care what they destroy at the moment, do they? We've got no idea, but I think this one is just driven by outside forces. I won't go into conspiracy theories and stuff like that. If you want to look at the UN Agenda 2030 and see 40 cities, you can go online. Not conspiracy theory, it's all there in black and white. And the aims are clear. But yeah, we may be getting to the point, not too distant future, where we need to take a leaf out of the farmer's book. But let's just see, eh? Fingers crossed, sanity will prevail. Maybe even crazier things like reform can get in, and we'll have a mini Trump-esque revolution, and turn the civil service upside down. Who knows? Fingers crossed, eh? You never know. But won't go into that too much. That was enough of a rambling rant. Yeah, let's crack on with the car, eh? So here we go, starting on the dash. I don't know if you can hear in the background, but it started to rain again, and yes, it really is still freaking freezing. So I'm well wrapped up. Anyway, before I take the dash out to start on the wiring, what I want to do is sort out the various lengths of these pieces of heater pipe. The reason I want to do it now is because confusion over the sizing of the pipe. This was sold as 55mm ducting. That's the OD, so it's meant to go over a 2-inch tube, which isn't, or 50mm tube, which isn't too unreasonable. But the outlets on the heater are 55mm OD, which means these are a real stretch over it. I think I will modify it, put a bit of 2-inch tube inside there, glue it in so they can go over the tube, and that'll make it much easier to get on. But I also, to match that, I used 2-inch pipe, plastic pipe, on when I glued the inlets onto the heater in the bottom of the dash, which means that this is a bloody difficult job getting it, stretching it over, and I think doing it in the car would be all but impossible. So I'll cut all these to length, and then I will, when the dash is off, I can get them on, and then they just stay with the dash. And as I say, I'll put bits of pipe in there so that they can actually just slide on nice and easily. I thought I would quickly go over how I'm going to pipe it, because although it seems like it's 4 outlets on the heater, I've got 4 ducts, 4 face vents, so that's easy enough, doesn't matter, just plug them on where they go. But I do need to think about this, because the way I'm going to plumb it in, I'm not going to have any diverter valves or anything, so 2 of them are going to feed the demists continuously, and the other 2 are going to go to the vents out here, which I can shut on and off. So when I want demist, I just close them, and then when I want air coming out of these, I'll open them. But because I'm not having a diverter valve, I'm going to use the way the fan works. So the way the fan works, the flow is going to bias to these 2 valves. So if I plumb these 2 to the outer vents, that one and that one, then when they're shut, the air has to find its own way out, and it'll come out of these quite happily, feed the demists, and then when I open the outer valves, the flow will naturally bias itself to these two, so I'll get, you know, hopefully, well, this is the theory anyway, you know, my theory, so I'll get sufficient flow out through these. So as I say, when these are shut, the air has to come out of these, that's the demist all the time. Then when these valves are open, the flow will naturally bias itself, so it'll flow out of these. So I will crack on with sorting out these pipe lengths and then take the dash off. So there's the heater outlets all sleeved down, so they'll take the 2-inch ducting, and here's the dash with all the flexi pipes attached. So back inside the car to do some wiring. I promise I am going to get on with the wiring at some point. It will happen, I guarantee. But before I could do anything, I had to make a new bracket to hold this side of the fuse box. I think this side originally was on the heater, the original heater, so I had to make a bracket there. I also mounted the ECU and the little supplementary fuse box I put on. Very irritating. If I had a brain, look how close these brackets are. Look, I've got this bracket here holds the thing, and then this one right here, right next to one another. If I had any foresight at all, I would have made all this hang off the same bracket as this one. I did think of taking the heater bracket off and remaking it, but then I thought, no, I'm not doing that. This is all in and nice. So it was very simple, just a plate with a hole in it, and another little bracket to bolt on and hold the fuse box. You see like that, bolted on there the side. So yeah, so that's all in place. So now I have soldering iron, I have heat, I have all my tools, and the first one I'm going to do is this huge great lump here, which has got to basically plug in here. So I've got to shorten this by about 3 feet. So that's the first job. Okay, so this is the last bit of the loom all shortened. I've done this bit up here. That's the main power from the ignition switch, and then this little bit down here. But anyway, this is the last bit, and I thought I'd just show you what I do to protect all the wires once they're shortened, because people will tell you that you shouldn't solder wires. Shouldn't solder connections because it causes a stress point. Like where the solder stops and the copper starts, you get a stress point, it can crack, and that's true. If things are moving around, that it will crack at the edge of a solder joint. But so here's all the bits, you can see all heat shrunk, all the wires, and to stop them vibrating, what I'm going to do is get my tape, and then as tight as I can bind this section of the loom together. Then bind all the shortened section of wires together, nice and tight. And then finish that off. And now you can see none of the solder joints are experiencing any vibration or flexing of the wires, all that stiff together. And when the dash is back in, I will make sure everything is supported and clipped up so it's not waving around too much. Like up here, and I'll make a standoff as soon as I've got the ducting on, so I know exactly there's a duct here that's going to have a piece of flexible ducting on it, so I don't know exactly where this wiring needs to sit, but when I know, I'll make a standoff, goes on there, and then this will cable tie to that, so that'll be supported, and then all this will be supported, and I'll make some sort of clip to hold that up, so in a more standard place. But yeah, there we go. The bit I really like about messing around with cars, when you get to chop out that mess and make things better. Very satisfying. And so there you go, as promised, wiring finished and dash all bolted in and the instrument binnacle in. I freely admit not actually finished because there's plenty of wiring left to do. I've got to sort out a few earths, got to sort out just crimp on the tack connections and finish up that heater control. But the bulk of the work is done, and as I say, the dash is in and the heater works and all sorts. So when I get the vents in, I'll show you all that, but I think I'll leave now till I get this bit entirely finished, and then I'll revisit that. But yeah, there we go. Cool, huh? So there you go, wiring loom pretty much modified, all done, and the dash bolted back in just like I promised. Impressive, eh? Discovered a few problems. I mean, there's obviously, it's not finished. There's the heater control panel to go back in. Got to modify the brackets for that and the spacers and all that, and get the vents in and stuff like that. And I've also discovered that the steering column, I guess it's like a stack up of tolerances where I've moved stuff. It's not quite right. It's about 10 mil, maybe half an inch too far back relative to the dash. So I'm going to have to look at either hopefully just making some adapter plates so I can move it slightly further forward, but otherwise I'll just cut the brackets off the dash and cut the brackets off the steering column, weld new ones on to move it into the correct place. It's a little unfortunate, but what can you do? Move everything this much. These sorts of things are going to crop up. So yeah, plenty left to do there, but I'm not sure it'll make great viewing, and I would like to get on with the engine. So I think the next video is me finally going to be getting on with engine stuff. Although, as I've mentioned before, it's largely just logistics about me getting over to CTM to get the machining done and get everything cleaned up and all that sort of stuff. I've got to mention the price of valves. I'm going to put a set of 1mm over 1mm oversized exhaust valves in it, and they're one-piece stainless, so better for the turbo, or more reliable. The price, they've gone up 40% since I first looked at them about 8 months ago. They've gone up ridiculously. Well, they're still, I'm going to get them. I'm going to bite the bullet because, as I say, reliability and bigger exhaust valves. Because the one thing you look at that, you think, yeah, those valves are a bit tiddly. So I would like to do that. Yeah, so engine stuff and maybe some bike stuff as well, because my son needs a new bike, and I've got a mountain bike out there, an old mountain bike, an old Muddy Fox Pathfinder. But it needs a bit of work. So the thread's got on top of the headstock, and the wheels are knackered. The cones inside the bearing races in the wheels are completely gone. So I'm going to put a new set of wheels on it, maybe go to disc brakes, so a bit of welding here and there. But anyway, I might introduce that. As I said a year ago, that might be some non-car related stuff in the channel. So that'll be it possibly, but we'll see. I'm not sure. See where we get to. Take this opportunity to say like and subscribe and comment as always, because that's part of the video. You have to throw in there the the YouTube analytics, go through what you're saying, and I'm sure they pick that out. And it seems to be, if you do say that, you get more views. Very strange. I don't know. I don't understand it. But that said, I do hope you enjoy what I'm doing. It's really very satisfying getting stuff done, putting it out there, and getting I don't know, a huge number of views and a huge number of comments. But it's really nice when I do. I really do appreciate people just just sticking their pen in and feeling like it's nice. A bit of affirmation never hurt anyone, did it? So that said, oh, you see, plastic can be sharp. Who knew, eh? Cheers, good health, and I will see you in a couple of weeks. Cheers.